I think that this sort of stuff actually lends itself. I remember seeing your house on through the keyhole. You had all sorts of interesting little things in there.
Yes, and quite nice, a lot of nice objects as
well.
You
did, yes. Funny enough, George, we can't talk about it on the programme, but I mean, you had a reputation some years ago of doing the sort of things I always wanted to do.
Did I?
Yes.
Well, that tells me what you wanted to do.
I mean, somebody told me you did it in a taxi going around Hyde Park once, but I don't think that was true.
Regent's Park, actually.
Oh, was it Regent's Park? Was it? Yes, and then there was a lift at the multi-storey hotel.
There was that. Yes.
Was that true? I mean, that was...
it was more or less true. It opened, Mark, at a certain point. But luckily I wasn't as famous as a certain film star I was in the news a few weeks ago.
Roll titles before we're taken off the air. But particularly a very special good evening to you. Well, in the club tonight we have an enormous amount of excited people. And why are they excited? Well, they're excited because they're here with me. That's why they're excited. We have a programme for you that the audience have been trying to get in for days for. As you can see, we have a very full... sorry about that. We have a very full audience, but I think we should get on with the entertainment first of all. These are the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain. These are, as far as ukuleles are concerned, these are the people, and they are now going to entertain you. All right, and I want you to join in at home with a little thing, one of their own compositions, which is called Western Lands. Thank you. Here we are. Late nights. More later. Okay. Just a couple of bars at the end bit. Just a couple of seconds of the last bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody sit down on everybody, please. Come to your seats. Musical chairs. Right this way, ladies and gentlemen, please. go. Thank you. Thank you. Well, there we are, the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain. Very tall. And we'll talk to them a little later on. Ladies and gentlemen, time to raise the temperature in here tonight. Please, will you welcome Kooki? I have never been one to think that women were purely sex objects myself, but nor have you. No. Yes, OK. Well, I think we ought to have a twirl. This outfit is really... Could you give me the microphone as well? OK, there we are. Please, sell it, babe. Sell it. Sell it to the camera. Thank you. OK. So I think we should have a... I think we should have a... Please, don't hog the whole programme. Just because you can do that... I'm speechless again, but shall we do the competition?
Yep,
Who was a winner?
Simon Temple from Norwich.
Blow him a kiss. Oh, he'd rather have one from me. Thank you, Simon. Right, the competition this week... Excuse me. What are you getting so excited about? Eh? What are you getting so excited about? Are you sure?
I am.
Look at his hands. You want to... You'll go blind. OK, fine. Right. Question.
OK, what was the name of Batman's sidekick? Was it A, Robin, B, Dobbin, or C, Derek?
And the lines are open till midnight on Sunday, 0891 48 49 50. Call that number, and if you want to go out with Kooki, leave your name and address. Hasn't the weather been good lately? Hasn't it been good? And a little later on, because, of course, you know, what can we say about MPs? But we have a couple in the house tonight, and we'll be trying to look for a new job for Jerry Hayes. And oh, a little bird tell... Not this week. Next week, he's thinking of singing a song. Please, will you welcome now my next guest. He is a Renaissance man, in every sense of the word. A star in the cultural firmament of this country of ours... a star in the cultural firmament of the... Oh, God. Hang on, what does that say there? I'm being dyslexic. A star in the cultural what? Firmament.
Of this country of ours for nigh on 3 decades.
For decades, yes. A jazz man, an author, art critic, raconteur. Yes, Michael, I can hear you. Bon vivant... What? Icon. An icon. He is the great George Melly! George, thank you very much indeed. Please, come and sit down.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine, George.
All right.
That's lovely. Can we turn George and me up the other way, please? Fine, that's lovely. George, it's lovely to have you on the programme. What has it been like to have your life, George? What has it been like?
Well, it's been, on the whole, a lot of fun. And I haven't given up yet.
No, I know. And yes. I'd heard the other day. And, of course, at the Café Royal at the moment, and a new album of your greatest hits.
Café Royal in 4 days.
Yes?
Yes. Looking forward to that. It's a wonderful room to work. And one isn't ashamed to suggest people eat there, as one is in some nights. The food's not bad
yes,
at
George,
all.
OK, fine. Yes, George.
And it's altogether very nice indeed. You know, the distinguished public come to see it, too.
Yeah, I mean, after all, I'm not suggesting that you're old at all, George, but I mean, you've been doing it a long time. Don't you feel like taking it easy? It's quite hard work getting out and playing every night.
It's quite hard work getting out of bed. Yes.
Well, I was going to get on to that later, George, but yes.
I see. But I don't find it particularly hard. No, I think if I gave up, I would. I mean, if I really gave in and bought a spaniel and a pipe, I'd be dead in a week. But I've no intention of doing that, you see.
I mean, the stories that surround you about your rather rascally life, I mean, they must have been elaborated quite a lot. I mean, did you get up to some of the things?
Most.
Most of the things?
Most. The things that I didn't get up to, invented by other people, of course.
Yes.
But usually they weren't up to snuff. They weren't quite as interesting as reality. Yeah, I went quite a long way in my time. I don't know it'd be considered very far now.
Well, no, I think it would actually, George, because I think back in the 60s,
Yes.
and to a certain extent the 70s, people were a lot more frivolous than they are now. I think they've taken on a very serious, rather austere nature now, don't you?
Yes, I think they're crashing bores.
Yeah,
now.
well, I didn't want to put it quite that way because they say we were just a bit out of sync.
Yeah, the 60s was
yeah.
wonderful because people were so irresponsible and talked such wonderful nonsense and produced theories which were all in favour of pleasure. Whereas now theories are all in favour of thrift and Victorian values, whatever they may be. I think there were more prostitutes in London during the Victorian age than there are now.
That's probably what they mean, actually.
Yes, Victorian values, and so on. And then the politicians are absolutely awful, aren't they? I mean, they aren't as chic as, say, Macmillan was, you know.
We don't have stars to the certain extent that we had the Hollywood glamour and the film glamour that we had back in the sort of...
No, it's London is no longer swinging, is it?
No, we used to walk along the King's Road or Carnaby Street just out here. There would be music belting out of every shop, wouldn't there?
Yes.
And there'd be people wearing the most outrageous clothes. Everybody would be.
I had a caftan at one time.
Yeah.
But I only wore it once. I went down to the pub in
Oh, I see,
Camden
clothes,
Town.
yes.
I went down to the pub in Camden Town. It was called the Good Mixer. But they didn't like my caftan, so I hung it up and went in for gangster suits instead, and it vanished from my cupboard. And I asked the wife, I said, what's happened to my caftan? And she was working for an organisation called Release there, which dealt with people with drug problems. And she said, well, one of our clients, who was called Spook, died, and all he left us a will that he wanted to be buried in a caftan, so I'm afraid. And somewhere in North London, a Spook's bones wrapped around my beautiful caftan.
You've also published 13 books, and several of these on art.
Yes.
When people say, what do you love doing most? Are you really a jazz musician? Are you an art critic? Are you a man who has his finger on the pulse of what's happening in society? How would you...
Well, I enjoy doing all the things I do, and I enjoy fishing as well.
Wait, funnily, I knew you'd get that in, actually, because when we first met on a series, I think it was on HTV,
yes,
you came because you own a bit of a river.
Now, yes.
And you are, every minute you could get, you're not singing or in and around in taxis and lifts and things, you are fly fishing.
Yes.
Now, I couldn't get a fly rod, but this is I wanted you to show me a couple. Could you show me a casting thing?
Well, it's very difficult.
Would it be difficult on this? Would it,
because you can't pull in the line prior to casting it.
Oh, no, I knew there'd be a problem.
But I'll try, I'll try.
I knew, yes, and what, yes, yeah,
oh,
hey,
oh,
my
God. I
God.
got one on. Keep the rod up, keep the rod.
Yes.
Oh.
It's a big one. Let it be a smaller one.
It's very big.
Yes, that's it. Oh, it's off.
Oh, it got off.
It's off.
Didn't it just?
It's off.
Don't think that doesn't happen in real life, by the way.
I mean, you bought the bit of river because you were concerned about other people buying
it, and I wouldn't be able to fish in it, you see. I rented it before.
Yeah.
From a dear old military gentleman, but as dear old military gentlemen tend to do if they're old, he died, or faded away, let's say. And his heirs wanted to sell all his river, and so I had to buy it, and it cost the earth. Because I went to this public house in Brecon, which had a very, very good Welsh auctioneer pretending to be a simple man. You know the way.
But he wasn't.
He was not. Every time the bidding stopped, he took a glass of water. My throat. Up. I said, we must grit our teeth and do it, and we did. But in my mind's eye, several pictures I'd bought in the early 50s vanished from the walls, you know, like, leaving blank walls, but leaving a wonderful stretch of river.
How, on a serious note, how do the Welsh accept you? Because they used to get a bit funny about the English buying bits of their land. And
well, it does. For a start, I'm almost on the border, you know, Brecon. It's the border, the Welsh Marches. But also, I think occasionally being on such a distinguished programme as your own, or indeed any telly programme, does help. Not with everyone, but a lot of people, if you're on telly, they're not going to burn your house down. I say that rather rashly. I mean, at this moment, it may be smouldering.
Well, at least the river's handy, George, if it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Why did you never go and live in America?
Well, I haven't really succeeded enough to do that. I feel if you're going to live in America, you really have to go either when you're very young or when they want you. And although they were perfectly friendly on the occasions I appeared in America, and I got some very good reviews, including a wonderful review in the New York Times, I wasn't the fave rave, you know. I was just a fat, middle-aged Englishman singing the blues. What presumption. So I thought, I was tempted one morning. I was staying with a friend who had a wonderful loft in Tribeca in Manhattan. And he hired a beautiful pink stretch limo, a sort of real pimp's mobile, you know. And I got into this, and we drove into Long Island to a place where people were fishing for bass. And they were selling huge vegetables along the roads, and it was a wonderful day. And you could see the Manhattan skyline if you looked over your shoulder. You know, it was just, I thought, this is absolutely wonderful. I think I better live here. And then I thought, no.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, because you're back now and you're at the Café Royal soon.
Yes.
You've got the album coming out. Thank you for sharing a little bit of time with us. I'd like to do you a favour in return.
What?
Kooki! We don't have a lift, but we've got a great staircase, all right? She'll look after you. Come on, take George off. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Melly! George, thanks very much indeed. Thank you. And don't tire her out, George.
No. I'll see you in 48 hours.
George said he'll see us in about 48 hours or so. I don't know that Kooki can last that long. Right, OK, just before the break, isn't it? I think we do the competition, and that is, what was the name of Batman's sidekick? Was it Robin, Dobbin or Derek? OK, what was the name of Batman's sidekick? Robin, Dobbin or Derek? Call us on 0891 48 49 50. Don't go away, we have more for you after the break. Whoa! Have we lost something? Have we lost? There we are. Sorry about that. Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the show. Lovely to see you tonight. Oh, this is part two. Oh, sorry, this is part two. Right, I'm sorry about that. I thought it was the beginning. Waft, clouds, waft. In 1987... and in 1991, she was the reigning world hang gliding champion. This year, she won the world paragliding title in Japan. And we still don't know who she is, do we? So please, ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome Judy Leden? Michael, I know we don't rehearse often, Michael, but apparently I thought what we were doing is I was going to do this big build-up to Judy. I was going to introduce her. She didn't come through here, and I scratched my head, and then I realised she's hanging around in her harness over here. But nobody told you, did they? OK, not to worry. And it's late, well, no, it's late at night, but that's no excuse for you to be half asleep. Come over here. Come over here. These are clouds, waft clouds, all right? These are clouds, and then up here is Judy, and I've got some photographs here, Judy. It's nice to see you, by the way. Thank you for coming along.
Thank you.
All right, the world champion. World champion. Are you mic'd up there, by the way? Yes, I think
Yes,
you are.
apparently.
I can't see. Now, you jumped out of Per Lindstrom's balloon, is that right?
I did, yes.
Now, did he need a slap or what? What was all that about?
No, he cut me loose with a knife.
Did he?
Yes,
It gets worse,
yes,
doesn't it?
I know.
Yes.
I was hanging on a bit of string similar to this.
Yeah.
And he cut me loose and I dropped away.
And how high? How many?
41,300 feet.
That's a few miles, isn't it?
8 miles.
8
yeah.
miles. And what was when you dropped out of this? I know you've done it before. When you dropped out, what was your main feeling?
cold. It
was
was
cold?
minus 87 degrees, so it completely smothered any other feeling I might have felt because it was incredibly cold.
Now, I only ever did one parachute jump. And it took me a long time. I was sitting up there and I'm thinking, well, you know, I've had a good few years. What the hell? And how much can it hurt? And all this thing goes through your mind about what... Does that ever occur to you that you might not make it or not?
I suppose it did on that occasion because it was quite a lot more...
Jerry, that's okay, Jerry.
Can you keep that out of my eyes, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Get
Judy,
me up
I am
and
sorry.
See where I'm going.
I am sorry about that,
That's
Judy.
why I step
I'm sorry, he's a Tory. Yes.
Right, yeah. It did on that occasion. I mean, there were three main dangers. One was the extreme cold. One was obviously the lack of oxygen, where
Yeah.
your life expectancy is 45 seconds if your oxygen fails. And the third is getting the bends on the way up there. So we needed to do quite a lot of work to make sure that we'd survive it.
And what do you have to do to become the world champion? Is it from a great height or...?
No, it's run over about a 10-day period, and each day they run a different task, and it's basically racing around a fixed course. They'll maybe send you to a church 20 miles away. You take photographs. I've got my cameras on board here.
Oh, yes, very good,
So you
yes.
take photographs as you go
Yeah.
along, so you're navigating, you've
Yeah.
got a map on your leg,
Yeah.
you're taking photographs of the turn points on the way. That proves that you've been there. And then you have to race back
You
to
not
where
do
you
it in a
started
helicopter, take the photographs and get back?
Ah, you see, they think about these things because you have to take a picture of the task ball, which is actually on the takeoff on the day. You have to take a photograph of your wing while you're flying it.
Now, I've got a
similar to
photograph here
this.
that you took while you were over the top. Can you see that? Can we get right in? And right down there on the horizon here is a big bird with big wings. What?
That's a condor.
Now, I heard that fancied you.
Oh, they were lovely. They came within 2 feet.
That's not what I said, but yes.
Well, I've had birds that actually did do a courtship dance with me in the air. There are eagles in Africa called battler eagles in Kenya, and they don't have any tail, and they're black with red beaks. They're very extraordinary looking birds, and they're aerobatic. And one came up to me on the first day I was flying over there and did a barrel roll right in front of me and then pulled his wings in and dove away. And they do that with each other when they
Want
are
to,
courting, you see. Yes.
Well, anyway, we got
But I
you
can
here.
match it, you see. They
can-
want
you
you
can-
to follow, you
and
see.
do
You're
you?
supposed to do the same. And, well, I couldn't match him. I couldn't sort of fold my wings in and plummet without
It's a
dying,
shame,
really.
isn't
Bit
it?
of
No,
a
it's a shame. Now, listen, I have got for you a man who has made some people very, very wealthy. And some of them aren't even world champions, or even in the first division, or the Premier Division.
Oh,
well, no,
good.
they all are, aren't they?
Please
and
introduce
and if
us.
I was to say monster to you, you'd probably say what? And I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Hall. Come here, Eric. Good. Eric, fast becoming Britain's greatest radio star, here with us tonight, and a great guy. I love him. Now, look, we've got
What's he got
a
in his
world
pocket?
question. It's cigars.
So it's not a condor, you're right.
It's not a what?
It's not a condor.
Oh, condor, yes, yes.
You're right, okay. If I want to make love to you.
It's a... Ish. He's a sporting agent, right? He makes people lots of money. Now, world champion, come on, what could we do for her?
But actually, I never knew, being serious for a second, I never knew there was a world champion shtick, whatever you do here.
Hang gliding, paragliding, yeah.
Oh, hang gliding.
Yeah.
I thought you
Yeah.
were something else for a minute.
Yeah.
I know you do need an agent. You should have you got an agent?
I have now, yes.
Oh, what
He's-
Yes.
You,
no,
this
Mike
one here.
Whittingham. It
Mike
was-
who?
Well, we won't go into character assassination or everything else on this. So, anyway, but you didn't sign anything, did you? No, no.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah. I mean, what,
Hang around for me.
hang around for me.
We'll have a chat afterwards.
Because she'd be great at opening things, wouldn't she? And doing commentary and talking.
No, you would. You could sort of fly. No, seriously, you could fly into things like to Boots the Chemist and come in all these flying and things. You actually
There's a
could
bit of a problem
it
with
could
the
be
shopping
PR.
mall. You need a bit of a landing strip in
No,
the
no, we
shopping
can
mall.
arrange it. No, seriously,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
actually do it. You can
Yeah.
do all this. You can really do all this, really.
Right.
Because you don't travel in cabs anymore, do you?
No, no, no.
Right. What I was thinking was as well that we could have you don't mind me saying you're pregnant, do you? Or do you?
Oh, well,
No,
you've
anyway.
said it now, haven't you?
I mean, I wonder whether
Yeah, blown the gap.
I'm sorry.
Was she
Did he
expecting
not
an
know?
eagle?
I'm sorry.
Well, we don't know, you see. In theory, not. But
So
in
you
practice,
won't be
we'll-
doing this now. I mean, you can't do this sort
Well,
of
I've
thing.
just come back from the first European Union Masters, where I won the women's section, came third overall, beating the current European champion. So it's not bad when you're 3.5 months pregnant. It was very bad for their egos.
It
to
must
be
have been.
beaten
I
by a
wonder
pregnant woman.
if he or she will come out wanting to go straight for the.
Flying.
Well, I hope so.
Probably a fly
It's
out.
going to get left on the hill if it doesn't.
So can you make money at this?
I make an adequate living. I've been professional
much,
for
how
6
much?
years.
Eric.
I'll make
Oh,
you
how
more.
rude!
I will make
Not
you
enough to
more.
afford cigars
Well,
like
you're
that.
paying him with an agent, not Guy Summerton or whatever his name is. I have a proper agent. A nice Jewish agent from London, that's what you need. A nice Jewish boy.
So will you look after her?
I would, certainly. As long as I have to carry her.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judy Leden and the incredible Monster Hall. Now, Eric, tell me... Oh, and a little ripple for the clouds over here. Can we get a cloud? Enjoy, smile. That's good. Yes, very nice.
I want to be her agent too.
Yeah, well, you go and have a quick chat with her, and yes, and please, would you welcome singing beautiful song? It's called "It's All Right." The incredible Jaki Graham.
Say it's all right. Say it's all right. It's all right to have a good time, 'cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. We're gonna take it slow. When life's a low, moving slow, everybody knows that it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. We're gonna take a beat and move your feet, 'cause you've got soul. Everybody knows that it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. When you wake up early in the morning, feeling sad like so many of us do, harmonize your soul, 'cause life is your goal, and surely something's got to come to you. Say it's all right. Say it's all right. Yeah, it's all right to have a good time, 'cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. Everybody clap your hands. Give yourself a chance, 'cause you've got soul. Everybody knows that it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. When you wake up early in the morning, feeling sad like so many of us do, harmonize your soul when life is your goal, and surely something's got to come to you. Say it's all right. Say it's all right. Yeah, it's all right to have a good time, 'cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. Say it's all right. Say it's all right. Yeah, yeah, it's all right to have a good time, 'cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right.
Yay! Woo! Fabulous. Jaki Graham, and it's all right. Jaki, that was lovely. Thank you very much indeed. That was marvellous, from the great Curtis Mayfield, who wrote that song, who tragically was injured very, very badly some years ago. And Curtis Mayfield's a great singer.
Oh, wasn't he just?
Fabulous.
I was brought up on the sound of Curtis Mayfield, I must say.
Yeah? What are you doing at the moment?
I've just finished a tour of Japan, and I'm working on a new album, even though the album that some of the songs come from is not out here yet.
Yeah.
In Japan and places like that, in America and stuff like that. It's doing Touchwood. Sorry, chick.
You make sure it comes out here as well.
I hope so.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jaki Graham. Fabulous. Thank you. Baz! I know. Baz, come up.
How are you?
I'm fine. You're keeping bad company here. Look, what are you doing with all? I mean, look at this.
Where does this go? Oh, on my face.
Yes, no, it's too hot. Come and sit up. This young lady wants to be in movies and a big star, and I said if you sat next to Baz, who knows where you could end up.
What do you do with that exactly?
Could we get Baz? Could we? Thank you very much.
Kind of sexual, doesn't it?
Yeah. Simon, sorry, aren't you supposed to be taking photographs of what's happening on the show? At your round here.
Flash, sir.
I beg your pardon?
Hi, John.
Flash.
How are you?
Why not?
Just wanted a kiss. We haven't
Okay,
seen each
hang
other.
on.
How are you?
That's good. Right, now, listen, it's been a few weeks, but
Yes.
has Hugh Grant been after you or not? I mean, you seem to be hot on his tail.
Don't blow it, James. Don't.
No! Oh, no, I wouldn't do that,
It may.
Were the transvestite stories true or not?
It may come as a relief to you to know.
Yes.
There's a joke there. That at this moment in speaking, he was not with a transvestite.
Oh, right,
But
fine.
what a stupid guy, huh? He's going out one of the most glamorous women in the world, and what does he do? How silly. I mean, I don't think people were offended by the act, just surprised he did it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, publicity stunt.
Difficult getting it out, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't get a... Yeah, that's good. OK. Have you turned the flash off this?
Oh, hot baby.
All right, OK. Yes. Should we go into the Batman movie?
Let's go into Batman Forever.
Yes.
I think we're going to see a clip of Jim Carrey. Now, as you may know, Jim Carrey makes some pretty awful movies, but I love Jim Carrey. He makes me laugh in Ace Ventura, Dumber and Dumber, The Mask. Now he plays the Riddler, and he's so funny. He's over the top, but at one point he says, "Am I going over the top here? I can never tell." Let's look.
Well, it looks good. I mean, is it like all the other Batman? Obviously, it's like all the others.
Well,
Is
it's
it
not
good
as dark. It's not as dark. You know, the first two movies, they were kind of a bit sadistic in their way, and except for Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman in the second Batman film, this is funnier. This is more going back, I guess, to the campy TV series of 20 years ago.
They made obviously a conscious effort to change from the last couple.
They wanted to lighten it up, because you could never have taken your young kids, to the other two movies. I mean, I don't know. This may appeal to my wicked sense of humour, but this just made me die. There's one scene where Jim Carrey's the Riddler kills this unfortunate guy with a coffee pot, and he says, "Caffeine will kill ya." I don't know. That just appealed to me. Sick, sure. I don't know. And it's got Robin, the boy wonder, played by Chris O'Donnell, who's brilliant, by the way. And he says, "This is my partner, Dick."
Apparently, they had a lot of trouble.
No, because his name's Dick Grayson. He says, "This is my partner, Dick." Anyway.
My partner, Dick. They had a lot of problems finding someone to play Robin.
Yes, they did. But Chris O'Donnell, he's usually played straight-laced guys, and this guy in this film, he's sexy, he's funky. And at one point, he's got this moulded sort of suit, Robin suit, and Batman says to him, "Who designed your suit?" Because he's jealous of the curves, as it were, in the interesting places.
All the pecs.
Can we talk about curves?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, you're sitting next to Kooki, as usual. I don't know.
You notice I haven't mentioned Val Kilmer, who's okay as Batman, but, Batman is almost a secondary figure.
Yeah.
It's the bad guys, and also Nicole Kidman playing psychiatrist, looking like Veronica Lake. She's voluptuous, she's sensual.
See it.
I liked it. Go see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Baz Bamigboye! OK, just before we take the break, we come back with some... Oh, right, just before we take the break and we come back with some more exciting late-night entertainment. I know, Michael, there's only one red light on one of the cameras, and it's on this one at the moment, so I guess that's the one we're on. Let me just do the competition for you. Remember, often copied but never bettered, the James Whale Show, first for late-night entertainment. What was the name of Batman's sidekick? Oh, dear, was it Robin, was it Dobbin, or was it Derek? I've got to stop watching that Coronation Street. 0891 48 49 50. Call us. The lines are open till midnight on Sunday. Very good, very good. And that was really... Eric.
What?
he hasn't worked nearly hard enough to deserve that on the show.
No, we go back a long time and we love a whip.
Do you?
Yeah,
Well,
Baz said have a whip round. I don't know what he meant.
Well,
so,
I see. But what, you know, carry on then. Do you mind or not?
Well, you know.
No, okay,
Four
fine.
more strokes and we get engaged.
Oh, I prefer the cat and nine.
Well, we talk to our cameraman over here. Look. See? He likes to be whipped. What did I tell you? Okay, over here. Right. Now, before we carry on, competition, remind you that it's warm, I know, here in this country, and has been. And it's late at night now, but you might like to go... You might like to go on holiday courtesy of this programme. All you have to do is answer one simple question. And, of course, a lot of people leave their names and addresses for Kooki to call them back on the phone line. Naughty. The question is... And I know she takes back some of the numbers and rings you back, but that's got nothing to do with us. The question is, who was Batman's sidekick? Now, Baz nearly gave it away. Gave it away, and it wasn't Eric Hall, although he did try to get in. Now...
It was Rubin, the Jewish one, Batman and Rubin.
But he doesn't look... He doesn't look very good in tights.
Oh, give him a bagel.
So, where? So, anyway, the question is, who was Batman's sidekick? Ring the number coming up on the screen. There we are, 0891 48 49 50. The lines are open until midnight on Sunday. And the question is, as I said, who was Batman's sidekick? Robin, Dobbin or Derek? And give us a call. Now today, there you are. Now today is the birthday of Emmeline Pankhurst. I always thought it was Emily Pankhurst. I have lived a long and fruitful, entertaining life, and I always thought it was Emily. But it is Emmeline. And she lived between the ages of 1855 and 1928. Did you know that? That's a little history lesson for you on the show. The English suffragette who led the fight for women's suffrage in Britain by violent means. I'm now joined by Angela Eagle MP. Angela, thank you for coming onto the programme. We've thrown in our resident while he's still here. We're searching, may I tell you, we are searching high and low for a new job for Jerry Hayes at the moment. And I think we found one. We've had a lot of people writing in and suggesting, but you're a new MP, really, aren't you? You're new into the House of Commons.
That's right, yep.
You are the MP, Labour MP for, I've forgotten where.
Wallasey.
Wallasey, up there on Merseyside. And what about, I mean, are people celebrating Emmeline's birthday? They don't seem to be making a big thing about it.
Well, I think that we will be celebrating it. There's a house up in Manchester where they started the Women's Social and Political Union, which they've turned into a museum, and I'm sure they'll be celebrating.
Do you think, I mean, if people, we saw the riots because of the poll tax, which seemed to be the first time direct action actually had some sort of effect for quite some time, and it seems to me that nothing in life has ever been achieved without people really putting their foot down and doing something. Not that I'm advocating violence or anything, but it doesn't seem to happen, does it, till people get motivated?
Well, particularly the House of Commons seems to have to be shocked before it makes changes. If you read what the suffragettes did, there used to be pitched battles which members of Parliament would stand in the yard and watch while the police carted everyone off, and they threw bricks through windows. They set fire to the houses of cabinet ministers, none of which, of course, I'm advocating today. But they finally achieved their aim, but only after a great struggle.
Can I say, don't worry, Angela, about extraneous noises offset.
I try to ignore them. Yeah. I'm used to them in the House of Parliament.
We've got a few strange people here today. How fair do you think it's going to be to have positive discrimination in favour of women, which the Labour Party want to try and do now? I mean, it's...
Well, I'm in favour of quotas. I think we have to remember the scale of the problem. Only 170 women have ever been elected in our whole history to the House of Commons. That's less than a third of one parliament. Currently, we've only got 63 women out of 652, and we've tried and tried over the whole century to try to make this better in the Labour Party. And finally, we've decided that if constituency parties agree, then we will have women-only shortlists in some seats, and we're making progress.
A lot of the constituency parties don't agree, and it seems to me to be unfair to force somebody. I mean, surely the best candidate should get the job. I mean, you wouldn't want to think that you've been selected firstly because you're a woman and secondly because you were good enough to do the job.
Well, we've had men-only lists for years, and we mustn't forget that. And the other argument... Well, that's what we've had in effect, and I've been surprised how many constituencies have volunteered. We've had 34 volunteers to come forward for women-only shortlists, and 19 of those have been selected. By the time we finish that, we will have doubled the number of women in the Parliamentary Labour Party in one election, which is enormous progress.
Why can't we have, and Jerry will tell me, I'm sure, the answer, but why can't we have 2 MPs for each area, 1 man and 1 woman? I mean, there's almost 50% split in the country. It's slightly more in favour of women, I think, actually. But why can't we have...
I suppose you could, but then you might as well say...
What do you mean, I suppose you could?
But you might as well have a split.
Jerry's deeply concerned about this.
Well, I mean, I think there are more important things to worry about, to be perfectly frank.
I mean, I think that if we had better representation for women, we'd have actually not got to the end of the 20th century without having nursery care for everybody. We would not have got to the end of the 20th century and have a parliament that's got a shooting gallery and no creche. I mean, it actually is...
You've got a shooting gallery down there. I didn't know you had a
shooting...
You've never shown me the shooting gallery.
Well, I don't
What do they do in the shooting gallery?
Well, they shoot.
They shoot, I suppose.
So I'm told.
Yes.
But we've also... Did you know... Angela, I've only been there 12 years. We have got a video viewing room. Do you know there's lots of little booths? Have you seen
That's
them?
right.
Lots of
yes,
little booths with curtains where you can watch
booths.
videos. Now, tell James
Could you
about
lean
the
in a
cupboard.
bit,
So
apparently?
I've got a very bad back.
Oh, you've always got
Michael,
something
I've
wrong
got a
with
bad back.
Yes, OK.
All right.
1 minute left.
1 minute.
1 minute left.
The cupboard. Tell them about the cupboard. Do you know about the cupboard?
Yes, the cupboard.
Yeah.
There's a woman called Emily Davidson who actually snuck into the House of Commons during census night and hid in a cupboard in the chapel so that she could put on the census form that she lived in the Palace of Westminster.
And she was the one who threw herself in front of the
She was
King's
the one
killed
in the
herself.
derby.
Yeah, and in fact, Tony Benn went down there and erected a little
There's a
plaque
little
to her,
plaque
a little plaque.
to what she...
Yeah.
Last
But we ought
question
to have a
I've
little ceremony down there, actually. We ought to do that to celebrate suffragettes, because when I sort of speak to various organisations, the Jubilee Room, which is just above, I say, hey, just a moment, there's a woman down there, a commemoration to a woman who gave you the right to be here.
I do think that they'd be disappointed, the suffragettes, and Emmeline herself would be very disappointed to see how little progress we've made.
I, as an onlooker and as a member of the voting public, feel that there ought to be a little more, every time I've been there, to encourage women to go to the House of Commons, because it still has the smell and the feel of a naughty boys public school.
Absolutely
Victoria MPs are
right.
very,
Yeah.
very
Couldn't
good at
agree
encouraging
more.
women.
Ladies and gentlemen, Angela Eagle. Thank you very much indeed, Angela, for coming on the programme. And Jerry Hayes. And Jerry Hayes, who next week, by the way, next week, Jerry is singing a song. At the moment, he's rehearsing the song.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big, or was a big hit for...
Elton John.
And Jerry, could be Jerry's new job. Who knows?
I doubt it.
Would it be great if a woman got elected in your... No.
Oh,
Anyway,
shut up.
or maybe you'll have the operation after all. Right, shall we go on? Jaki is back and she's singing a great song. It's called Real Life.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Say the words, baby, I will be there. Just the thread of the magic you weave makes me stronger than ever I could believe. One true heart can move any mountain. Oh, one true heart can cross any line, free any mind. Don't leave me hanging around. There's so much love that we found in real life. We're talking about real life, baby. Yeah, this is real life. We're together, we're forever. It's real life. Makes no difference where we've got to be. We have love, truth, and honesty. And there's nothing that we can't survive. We're alive, so alive. One true heart can move any mountain. Whoa, one true heart can cross any line, free any mind. Now we've got nothing to prove. There's so much in everything we do. It's real life. We're talking about real life, baby. Yeah, this is real life. together, we're forever. This is real life. We're talking about real life, baby. Yeah, this is real life. We're together, we're forever. It's real life.
Yay! That was terrific. Hey, that was wonderful.
Oh, baby.
That's the title track from the new album?
Yeah, it's called Real Life. Yeah.
Brilliant.
The single is, though, it's
Brilliant,
the same
brilliant,
thing,
brilliant, brilliant. Jack, and you didn't have any rehearsal, I know,
I know.
and
Can
you
you
just
give me
came in
shake?
and did it. Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Jaki Graham. Okay. Are you following me? Over here. This young lady from Israel up the back here is desperate to be on television, wants to be a star, got her sunglasses on. There we are.
Hi, everyone.
You've got a couple of seconds while we get the ukulele. All right, say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, that's nice. Okay.
This is my claim to fame.
This is your 15 seconds of fame.
I've been waiting for 28 years.
And you got it? Yes? Oh, good. Are you enjoying it? Take your glasses off so everybody can see you. There we are. One of your people?
Shalom, shalom. Malishma.
Mike, actually, Eric, Michael said so. What was that, Michael? Up there. I can't. Oh, you love Eric. He said he loves you. He loves you.
I love him too.
We're going to finish off tonight with some more great entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this at home as much as we're going to enjoy it here in the studio. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy yourselves. These are the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain. Thank you! Thank you! A quick look at Joel's painting. Very good, Joel, over there. Fantastic. There we are. Thank you. Okay, who shall I have tonight? Thank you very much indeed. Have a nice night. Bye-bye. You pick your own. Okay, bye. Thank you. After you. There we are. This way, this way. There we are.